This book is called Bats by Elizabeth Kearney. Bats. There's a picture of a bat. What's a bat? I sleep by day, I fly by night. I have no feathers to aid my flight. What am I? The answer is a bat. A bat is a mammal. Mammals are animals that nurse their young, have hair, and are warm-blooded. Humans, dogs, and whales are all mammals, but bats have a special ability. They can fly. A warm-blooded animal that drinks its mother's milk has a backbone and has hair. And this is a flying fox bat. Bat food. And here's a picture of a bat with his food. There are about 1,200 types of bats in the world. Most of them eat insects. Insect-eating bats are usually small in size. There are more than 150 types of fruit bats. These bats are usually larger and search for sweet fruits and other plants. And this is a silky, short-tailed bat. And he's about to eat that fruit. A few bats hunt for larger prey, such as frogs, birds, or mice. Some people think that all bats suck your blood. This is not true. Only 3 kinds of bats drink blood. This group is known as vampire bats. They mostly feed on the blood of animals like cows and deer, not humans. There's a vampire bat. And this is a fringe-lip bat eating a frog. You can see the frog's legs hanging out. He's one of the bats that eats frogs. Night flight. Did you know that while you're fast asleep, bats are busy filling their bellies? Bats are nocturnal, meaning they're active at night. This way of life has many advantages for a bat. Insect-eating bats often feast on bugs that come out after dark. Pollen and nectar-eating bats might feed on plants that only open at night. Nectar is a sweet liquid made by flowers. And this is a picture of thousands of wrinkled-lipped bats leaving a cave at dusk. Bat bodies. Science call bats Chiroptera, a Greek name that means hand wing. That's because bats have 4 fingers and a thumb just like us. A thin layer of skin connects the fingers. This forms a wing. Bats also have a sensitive nose and big ears. Their big ears help some bats see with sound. And here is a bat that's labeled. This is his fur. And here are his fingers. There's a finger right, let's see if I can count them. There's 1 finger here, 2, 3, and 4. And the skin that stretches over just makes him into a wing. And there's the wing. And there's his eyes, and there's his ears, and his nose, and his thumb down there, and his 4 fingers, or 4 little toes. Echolocation is what this is a picture of. It's a system in some animals for locating objects using sound waves. In the pitch black night, bats can scoop up a tiny insect with ease. No flashlight required. How do they do it? They make a sound that travels until it hits an object. Then it bounces off the object and travels back to the bat. From this echo, the bat can tell an object's size and how far away it is. This is called echolocation. Practice saying that word, echolocation. Funny face. Some bats have strange-looking faces. Special ears, nose, and mouths help bats tune into and make sounds while they use echolocation. Their faces may look odd to us, but for bats, their features work perfectly. That one's called a big-eared bat. Look at how big those ears are. Hanging out. When bats are not hunting for food, they're usually hiding in a roost. Roosts can be caves, treetops, or attics. Bats pick places that are well hidden and protect them from bad weather. When most bats rest in their roost, they hang upside down. Little red-headed flying foxes roosting in a tree. Now I said foxes, boys and girls, but these aren't foxes. They're a kind of bat called red-headed flying foxes. They kind of look like foxes, but they're bats. Have you ever hung upside down in a jungle gym? You might start to feel dizzy. Bats have special veins to keep their blood flowing properly so they never feel dizzy. Bats can't take off from the ground like birds do. They have to fall into flight. Hanging upside down is the best way to make a quick getaway. And boys and girls, this is a cave full of bats. Some of them are flying and some of them are just hanging around. Baby bats. There's a mama and a baby. Baby bats called pups completely depend on their mother after they're born. They're blind, hairless, and can't fly. They cling to their mother's fur. The pups nurse their mother's milk until their wings are strong enough to fly. Bat rescue. Look at these teeny little baby bats. And they have bottles because somebody saved them. During storms in an Australian rainforest, wind can knock baby bats to the forest floor. The babies usually don't survive unless wildlife workers come to the rescue. The lucky bats are taken to a bat hospital. The babies are bundled in blankets and fed milk from a bottle. After a few months, they are strong enough to return to the wild. They're so little. Nature's helpers. A world without bats wouldn't be very nice. Bats are an important part of the ecosystem. Insect-eating bats gobble up millions of bugs. Many of these insects are pests that could harm humans or destroy crops. Bats keep their numbers under control. Other bats keep forests healthy by spreading seeds and pollen. This allows trees and flowers to multiply. Myths busted. Some people say that bats are blind, but the truth is bats have excellent eyesight. Some bats hunt using sight alone. Some people think that bats are dirty, but bats are actually neat freaks. They groom themselves frequently. Mothers lick their babies to keep them clean. And that way, they kind of remind me of cats, because cats do the same thing. Here's something else that people think, that bats get stuck in your hair, but that's not true. With sharp senses and echolocation, bats are very good flyers. They can avoid obstacles the width of a thread. Look at this little guy. Myth, vampire bats turn into human vampires. The truth is, there's no such thing as a human vampire, and bats certainly don't turn into them. Remember, they only bite cows and deers, not humans. Bat Hall of Fame. This one's called Teeny Tiny. The smallest bat in the world is the bumblebee bat. Its wingspan is 5 inches across. Its body is the size of a jelly bean. So that bat is only as big as a jelly bean. Now look down here. This bat has mega wings. The largest bat is the 3-pound flying fox. Its wingspan can be 6 feet long. That's longer than you are tall. It's probably about as tall as your dad's. The Honduran white bat makes tents out of leaves to protect itself from constant rain showers. Here's the most crowded home. Do you see all those bats? 20 million Mexican free-tailed bats live in one Texas cave. These bats are also the fanciest flyers. They can soar as high as 10,000 feet and zoom through the air at speeds over 40 miles an hour. The biggest appetite. Little brown bats can eat up to 1,200 mosquitoes in one night. Yum! Little brown bats are what we have around here. So if you see a bat, don't be scared. They're going to eat all the mosquitoes that would otherwise bite you. And there's some of the words we learned about. And that is the end of this bat book.